Well, good evening. Welcome to Space Oddities. Thank you for joining us on this Thursday evening for the 7th flight test of SpaceX's Starship. As you can see to my left, the weather at Boca Chica is looking absolutely beautiful this afternoon, and they're not expecting any problems with winds. Obviously, none with rain because they've got clear skies there by the look of it. I'm not quite sure what the temperature is there, but it should be an eventful launch. Fantastic space mission coming up that we hope you're going to stay with us to watch. Joined this evening by Ian. Hello, Ian.
Hello.
By Daz and by
Hello.
Roger there.
Hello.
And we've had quite a busy week on Space Oddities. It's been a busy week because we've had the launch of New Glenn, we've had the launch of the Blue Ghost lander to the moon by SpaceX, and now the Starship. So we've had a few early mornings this week and a few late nights. However, it is our intended mission to bring it all to you viewers. So this is great for you at least, and we enjoy doing it. So this is why we're here. Just a few words before we go much further. Just give you a brief outline of this mission. This is the 7th test flight of the Starship, and what this mission includes is a brand new version of the Starship. You can see it there on top of the Super Heavy booster. It's had many changes over the first version. This is known as the Block 2 version. Its forward flaps have been moved in its radial position around the fuselage and nearer to the nose to increase stability and control. Lots of internal changes. And on this mission, we'll be seeing something quite special. But let's talk about that in a moment. So the way that the mission is going to go is that we have a launch, as always, here from Boca Chica. Then the vehicles will separate in the hot staging process. The first stage, the Super Heavy booster, will then return to Boca Chica, and an attempt will be made again to catch it with the Mechazilla mechanical arms. As you probably were on Flight 6, communication was lost between the tower and the returning booster. So although SpaceX think in retrospect it probably would have worked, they didn't want to try it just in case. So they told the booster it wasn't landing, so the booster automatically diverted itself to splash down in the Gulf of Mexico. So that's the second thing that's going to happen. The Starship will then ascend into an orbital altitude, although it's not going to do a full orbit of the Earth, but it will be at an orbital altitude. Two things are going to happen during the Starship's flight. The first is that, again, they're going to try and refire one of the Raptor engines, because restarting engines in space, especially these Raptors, the full flow complete cycle engines, restarting them in a vacuum has always been thought a bit problematic, but they did manage it last time on Mission 6, so let's hope they can manage it again. This will be crucial, of course, for future flights, being able to restart the engines in orbit. And the really interesting thing that's going to happen is that included on board the Starship for this test flight are, I think it's 10, it's either 10 or 12, 10 simulators of Starlink satellites. These are basically bits of metal that have the same mass and weight as Starlink satellites. And the Starship is going to try and deploy them through the payload door as it would in a real Starship deployment in orbit. So let's see whether that actually works. So it's the first test of the payload deployment mechanism. Inside the Starship is a thing that has been nicknamed the Pez dispenser. The Starlink satellites are stacked vertically. One is released from the bottom, the rest move down the stack. And that's what we're going to see today, hopefully. And it should be really interesting to see whether that works. SpaceX need that to work, of course, because the first role of the Starship, once it enters service and has finished testing, is to deploy Starlink satellites, because and they're going to be the new version of the Starlink satellites, the version 3. I wasn't aware there was a version 3 until recently, but the version 3 satellites are big and heavy, and SpaceX can't use the Falcon 9 to deploy them in any great number because of their weight and size. So Starship is going to be the only way really they can deploy enough of these Starlink satellites. The Starlink satellites that are going to replace or be added to the existing satellites in orbit, the 6,000 and something Starlink satellites that are already in orbit, the new ones will have up to a 1 gigabit per second transfer rate to the Earth. So people will be getting incredibly fast internet from the new Starlink satellites. So this is great for people who've never had internet before or not had a reliable one, and or live in remote areas, and it's going to be a revolution for them. So that's great. After the Starlink satellites have been deployed, eventually the Starship will re-enter the Earth's atmosphere and splash down in the Indian Ocean, and as it has done on the previous missions. So that's what we've got coming up. We hope you're going to stay with us for that. Thank you for joining us. There's another
Andy.
Sorry.
There's another experiment, isn't there, with these bits of metal being put on the. Is that right? Am I confused with that?
I'm not sure what you're referring to.
Oh, I think he's talking. No. You're talking about the heating tiles.
Sorry,
exactly right. Tiles. Yeah. Yes. Thank you for reminding me, Ian. Yes, SpaceX are also testing a replacement for the thermal protection system. The existing thermal protection system is made of ceramic tiles, and it's proved problematic. If you remember, a couple of test flights ago, one of the forward flaps nearly fell off because the plasma ate through it. And so SpaceX have been thinking about having a metallic heat shield again, as they did originally. Originally, they were going to have a metallic heat shield, but they thought that if they could design ceramic tiles that could withstand the temperatures, they're going to be much lighter than metal tiles, and therefore there would be more fuel for other purposes. But now they're coming back to the idea that perhaps metallic heat tiles are the way forward. So on the Starship, I think there's a cluster of maybe, I don't know, a dozen of them. I couldn't count them exactly, but there aren't many. So some of the tiles on the Starship are going to be metallic. You'll be able to see them because they're red. And if they're going to replace all of the tiles with these metallic tiles, we're going to end up with the red Starship, which will look absolutely stunning. It's going to be the Ferrari for the spacecraft.
Wow.
So look out for the red tiles. Just before we go any further, just a bit of housekeeping for you. If you would like to support Space Oddities, then you can buy us a coffee. And if you look in the chat, a link will have just appeared. So you can either scan this QR code or click the link in the chat. That will take us to our Buy Me a Coffee page, and you can donate some money to us here. As I always say, the money goes towards keeping the channel running and nothing else. We're not all going to get rich out of Space Oddities, and we certainly, if we did want to get rich, we wouldn't expect you to pay for it. So all the money goes towards keeping the channel running because we have bills like anybody else. We have Space Oddities t-shirts available, and these are £20, including UK postage and packing. Please add £10 to the total value of your order if you're ordering from abroad. And we, I know it's not t-shirt weather, so we're not selling that many of those at the moment, but that will come in the summer. So to keep you warm during the winter months, viewers, we have these Space Oddities hoodies, and these come in two designs: one that goes over the head and one that zips up down the front. With the one that zips up down the front, obviously the zip is on the back. So
the zip is on the back.
Sorry, the design is on the back.
That'll be hard to do, huh?
Yeah. Dexterity there. It's not a straight jacket, by the way. It's only a hoodie. Those are £40, including UK's postage packing. So jolly good deal. And there you are. So if you want to look at all of our merchandise, you can visit the Space Oddities shop, and again, a link just popped up in the chat, where you can see all of our merchandise. We've got a couple of different designs on the t-shirts and hoodies. You've also got t-shirts where the design, rather than being on the front, is at the lapel position, And you can also order long sleeve t-shirts there as well if you want, for an additional £3. So there you are. Now the other thing that is very important to us, if you could remember to like, subscribe, and comment, it really helps us, because these are the things that the YouTube algorithm looks like when trying to decide whether to recommend our videos to other people. When we want the algorithm to do that. So if you could just like and subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment on the video. And I know most people don't leave a comment on the video because they make comments in the live chat. But after the video, after the live stream is finished, if you could just leave a comment on the video, that would be great, because it would get us noticed more by the YouTube algorithm. And thank you very much. If you want to contact us at any time, you can email us at info@spaceoddities.space. That's part of our new website. So I'll just put the address up here. The address of our website is https://spaceoddities.space. And if you look on the front page of that, that'll tell you exactly what's going on Space Oddities and what we've got coming up for you. And there we are. So that's that. So if you could visit the website, have a look around, and if you've got any comments, suggestions, feedback, death threats, ransom notes, anything like that, then you can mail them to info@spaceoddities.space. Okay, and I see that indeed we're relaying the coverage from NASA spaceflight this evening, and they're actually at the moment going through their merchandise as well. So
we rate doing them. We rate doing them. As regards to all the changes you've mentioned, Andy, there's absolutely a ruck of internal,
absolutely,
electronic type changes. I mean, there's changes to aid communications, navigation, battery power, distribution throughout the thing, and also there's 30 cameras on this.
I know.
So hopefully we're going to get some amazing views. I don't think we'll see them all, because I think most of them are for engineering assessment. Because and they have another thing I have noticed, and I've just read, that they have removed some more of the tiles to test heating. Because if you remember last time, they took off a load of tiles that they thought were surplus to requirements. So and they've done that again to a few more. So yeah. So but I'd love to see. We've got some ice rings forming on the frost rings forming on the.
We should point out
actual Starship.
Countdown has been put back by 37 minutes. So we're now looking at UK time 10:37 p.m. for liftoff. Sorry, I should have mentioned that earlier. We only found out briefly before we went live, just a couple of minutes before we went live. For whatever reason, SpaceX have delayed the launch by 37 minutes. So we're now looking at 10:37 UK time for the launch. We have no idea why that is, but there we are. So this will be not the final test flight of Starship, because they've still got a lot of testing to do before it can officially go into service. I wonder if it's ever going to get human certification as well, because that's going to be a long process as well. Because I was reading that normally the spacecraft have to fly at least 50 times to reliably to get human certification. So they've got a long road ahead of them. But think about this: they're going to have to do it for Project Artemis. The Starship will have to human certification.
Well, the astronauts won't be taking off in it, will they? But one of the things I was just going to say, following on from what you were just saying, Andy, is that on the Starship, where do you put the escape system?
Well,
and yes. This is where are they going to allow them to take a launch with people on board without some sort of escape system, or and how would they do it? Would they, if it's a fault with the booster, would they separate the Starship and then try and return it or land it, or it's so this is something else they're going to have to sort out, because really every in-flight crewed mission had an escape system, and they learnt their lesson with the shuttle.
Yes, absolutely.
Because the shuttle didn't have an escape system as such.
Well, it did up until the point it took off, didn't it? Because it had a what you call it?
The chutes, the escape chutes.
Yeah, from the launch tower. But once they lifted off, there was no escape.
That's right. So, because I remember after the Challenger, they made the actual cockpit stronger, so it should be able to survive. And they're relying upon basically people, it being high enough for the people to be able to parachute out.
Yes, absolutely.
Which wasn't really an ideal system. Good job. Well, I was going to say it was never tested because I don't think it would have worked.
No.
But we saw the result.
Yes, indeed.
So this escape thing, it's not for space, obviously. It's for if it goes wrong in on the Earth, whilst it's still.
No, if you think back to the Apollo days. Oh, Daz has frozen.
He has.
If you think back to the Apollo days, on top of the Saturn V was a little tower that contained a solid fuel rocket.
Right.
And that would pull the command module clear of the rocket on the ascent to orbit if anything went wrong.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So we're talking about they're mainly worried about once the rocket lifts off, what would happen if there was a problem with it.
Yes, got you.
So we've got John Walton saying, "Hi everyone, looking forward to the launch. Fingers crossed it doesn't get scrubbed." Yeah, we hope so too, John. Thank you very much for being here. SpaceX have got these launches pretty much off now. They don't normally have many problems. Stuart says, "Evening, Oddities." Evening, Stuart. How the devil are you? And we've got also Mlugu. I'm saying that correctly, sir. So apologies if I mispronounced that. Congratulations, SpaceX, for the successful launch of Starship. Yes, we're all hoping for that. Yeah. And it's in the lap of the gods, really. There's nothing that anybody can do. It is what it is, basically. But as I said, SpaceX have got a lot of experience now launching these rockets. So hopefully it doesn't get scrubbed. I'm not really anticipating any problems because there's nothing really revolutionary on this flight that might cause problems for the mission. It's all just improvements rather than anything revolutionary that might affect it. But we will see. But as you can see, it's a lovely day there at Boca Chica. It really is. And we await developments. So we're now looking at about half an hour before launch. So I suggest we take a 10-minute break, guys.
Sure.
Yeah, we'll take a 10-minute break, and we will be back with you in 10 minutes. So we'll leave you with NASA space flight so that you can keep looking at what's there. Perhaps we can have the sound on, Daz.
Yeah, we'll do.
Thank you. And let's just do that.
Camera, but EJ, give us your perspective from up there on the roof and what you're seeing.
Well, Gina, I made it up here. We got a clear shot all the way to Starship. I can see the tank farm gases coming off the vehicle. It's just a little bit hazy up here, but Das, we got a pretty clean view, don't we?
It's a pretty clean view. I'll take it, EJ. I've seen worse.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I'm in a cloud right now, and there's not very many clouds. There's no clouds above us. It's just some ground haze, and I really wonder if a lot of it's not wind blowing and roiling all this up.
Yep.
I'll take it. But we are up here. Are you going to join us at some point?
I'm heading up there in just a minute. In fact, why don't you guys take it? I think we're going to try to check in with Jack. He's running around, but they'll let us know if he's ready when we check in with him. And I know coming up here in just a few minutes, about 12 minutes actually, they go through the Raptor chill down, but that's a couple minutes away. Tell us again about the cameras. I'm going to run up there and join you guys. I will see you in just a second.
Well, like we said, we are ready to go up here on the roof. We'll cover for Gene while he makes his way up here. We've been trying to deal with the wind. The big thing is we are still getting some gusts of wind up here. It's not the worst it's ever been. It's coming from behind us, which is the north. Little chilly. How you doing, EJ?
I'm doing just fine, man. This is just like home.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
the
you're
weather back home.
Boston.
Yeah.
Not from Texas like
Perfect.
me.
Just got a hoodie. This is a hoodie weather. We're good, man.
But EJ's looking for his shorts. He's like, oh, hold on my shorts.
Want to go swimming?
I'm good, dude. But we are up here. We see people all the way down in Isla Blanca Park. People lined up along the beach. A lot of people watching from balconies up here next to us, but just standing by as the count continues to count. And Alex and Adrian, if y'all notice anything, one thing, our environment up here is a little tough, so it's a little tougher for me to watch the screen and watch the clock, and I'm not tuned into all the social announcements. So if y'all see anything, please jump right in and let me know what's going on, because it's a tough place. I'm going to mind my cameras, and y'all mind background information.
Yeah.
Sound like a deal?
We will certainly keep you updated. Right now, we're in a situation where all 4 tanks are loading, so it's kind of steady. Because it's, of course, until these 4 tanks are all the way loaded, we are in a bit of a more steady state here. But once we get into this wrap up and all of these kind of final little steps, we will certainly chime in again.
Good deal. Just don't hesitate to let us know. How you feeling, EJ?
I am feeling just fine, man. Everything looks good to me. Once we saw that tank farm going, I mean, I got a little nervous with that 37-minute push.
Yeah.
But now, once the tank farm got rolling, I'm like, it was a load off. I'm like, this is great. I'm having a great time.
We are 7 minutes into the official window. Just crossed under T-minus 30 minutes, it looks like. Window goes all the way to 5 o'clock, so they're just about targeting the middle of the window. But look at the afternoon lighting.
Oh, golden hour right there.
The sun is starting to go down. We get that fantastic lighting from the southern view. That big camera there is the southern view. It is just a fantastic view of Starship.
Beautiful.
The shadows start to get long. All that venting, God, it's just sort of ground level, hanging out.
I mean, we could see it. We could see it clear as day here. We'll show you guys when push comes to shove. We'll get a camera on that from where we are. But man,
yep,
she's going.
Well, I hope so.
Let's see what we got.
Haven't heard any information that they are not going for it, right?
That's right. Schrodinger's go.
Okay. Adrian, we're also going to need some help if a super chat or something like that comes in. I have lots of screens, honestly, but they're all dedicated to cameras. So if you support or super chat or anything like that, please jump in, all right?
Absolutely. And quickly thanking all the people that are also getting the patch here right now and supporting us in all kinds of different ways. And there's so many very nice messages here, so we'll get to them at some point here.
Good deal. Perfect. All right. So continuing to count down. How are we doing viewers-wise? Do we have a couple friends here watching us from all over the world?
One or two.
It's a couple?
Yeah, one or two, 3 maybe.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
How recently did we do the Where Are You Watching From? Did we just do it like 2 minutes before y'all came up?
No. The last time we were right at the top of the stream. That was some time ago.
Folks, this is one of the things we do. If you haven't noticed, we're not official NASA, right? We're a media organization. We're a bunch of enthusiasts.
Yep.
We love doing this. We sort of reached critical mass, right? We had so many individual talented folks chasing rockets, photographers, videographers, cinematographers, nerds that just love rocket facts and stats and spreadsheets, and people that love tinkering with stuff. EJ and I are live streamers.
Yep.
This is where we came up doing educational live streams, but we reached this critical mass, and we got to a point where we sort of pooled our resources and our knowledge together so that we could share things like this with you. And the coolest thing is you can watch from all over the world. We don't charge for the streams. It's not like, oh, you have to pay at the door to see the stream. No, we want everybody to be able to hang out with us here in the stream. So here's the deal. Let us know in chat right now where you are joining us from. I am going to get the stream open. The mods can take a break for a second because there's nothing you can do. That's fantastic. Gene just handed me chat. Somebody says from Blue Origin. Nice.
I mean, okay. Let's go.
Germany, Wisconsin, Oklahoma, Florida, Sweden, Turkey, Czech Republic. It's all over the world. DJ, look, UK right next to India. Got some Texans in there. Derbyshire, England, Huntsville, Alabama's in there as well. One day we'll be able to read this like the song, like
we've been everywhere for a long time, man. We've been reading chat for a long time. It's hard to keep up.
Look at that. It scrolled past really quick, but Beth Sanders with a $200.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So we're back, and let's just sort the screen out a bit. There we are. So we're now looking at well, what is it? 22:11 UK. So it's 25, 33 minutes, something like that.
Yeah, 25 minutes to go.
Yeah, nearly half an hour. So so we're looking forward to this. Roger, are you looking forward to anything in particular from this mission?
Well, I'd be interested to see how the satellites get launched. Of course, they will eventually burn up in the atmosphere just to make sure nothing else happens to them. But
that's right. Yeah,
it should be quite an interesting sequence of satellites coming out from there. Anyway, so
because of course
we will see them all gradually disappearing from inside the craft. So all good.
And so they'll be opening the payload door again, which they've already done once in the past, so which was interesting in itself, watching all the condensation be sucked out.
This mission is going to be a shorter mission than the last one.
So the only thing is that it's you're going to have more space junk, aren't you? Even more space junk. But never mind.
Yeah, but these are in low Earth orbit. Well, then they're literally just in orbit. They will return to Earth very, very soon. Yeah,
that's good.
I mean, one of the things now is that any launch, they've got to endeavor to literally reduce any form of debris. So it's either got to be designed to return itself to Earth, or return via gravity, or they will push it up into a higher orbit.
Yeah.
Really, they're trying to mitigate any more debris from actually collecting it in the low Earth orbit. So
these Starlink simulators are being ejected into a trajectory that will bring them back into the Earth's atmosphere within a few hours, I think.
Good.
So
when you say there, you mean
no junk there.
You mean
as a result.
Governments?
Yeah, the problem is, of course, that these are all voluntary agreements. There's nothing legally binding on anybody to do anything, which is the problem that we have with any type of international agreement, isn't it? Trying to get everybody to sign up for it. I mean, you look at the Outer Space Act of 1967, which essentially, amongst other things, says that nobody is allowed to lay claim to part of the moon. Not an individual, not a company, not a government, nobody. Nobody's allowed to lay claim to any part of the moon. But the two biggest countries who didn't sign it were Russia and America. Yeah. So
brilliant. Genius.
It's really difficult to get these agreements in place, especially when people are being stupid about the whole thing. Because
I mean, there's been several different sort of like space law, space acts, or whatever you want to call them.
Well,
and again, like you said, Andy, they're all voluntary. Nobody's actually policing it. And of course, then we've got the moon, where we've got the Artemis protocols, which people are signing up to, and then the Chinese and the Russians have got their own protocols, which other countries are signing up to.
Yeah,
so again, you've got a split. No one's sort of agreeing. So it is a sad state of affairs.
We've banned nuclear weapons up there as well, technically, but that's a bit of a question mark.
Of course we did.
I know, exactly. So
of course we did. Yeah.
Well, quite.
Have you seen Space Cowboys?
I just want to go back to something Alan said. We were talking about escape systems. He says, surely the second stage is the emergency escape system if the booster goes wrong. Absolutely, Alan. Yes. If the booster goes wrong, then the Starship is the escape system. But if the Starship goes wrong, then they've got problems essentially. But yes, thank you for that. Obviously, that's a good point.
But then again, also what I was trying to get at is if you have a catastrophic problem with the booster, then the Starship's actually going to be caught up in that.
Not necessarily.
There won't be.
Depends what the problem is, doesn't it?
Exactly. So, but you haven't got a separate capsule that will be pulled away.
No, true.
Independently. This is what I was getting at when I was talking about
for argument's sake that the Raptors on the booster fail and stop providing thrust. Just to take one scenario, then the Starship can blast away from the booster as it does at the moment when it separates.
Yeah, any sort of failure like that, but anything catastrophic, it's going to be.
But if they had a failure in the hot staging ring, and the craft couldn't separate, then they would be in trouble. So all sorts of different scenarios could play out.
But of course, we're not going to think on these things because they'll think about this when they actually think, right, we're going to start putting crews on here. And then they will actually work out what's actually got to happen.
Yeah.
Because it will have to be crew rated at some time if we're going to talking about taking people up into space on it.
It will have to be human rated for Artemis. That's the thing. They're not launching in it, but they will still have to. The life support systems and everything. It has to be human rated. Because it's carrying people. And I honestly don't know the timetable for that, how on earth that's going to work, unless they cut some corners, of course. Because that's the only way that Artemis is going to get to the moon anytime this decade, I think. Excuse me.
Yeah, with regards the Artemis, I must admit, landing a Starship on the moon. It's fraught with problems in its own.
Yes.
It's the same because with the Apollos, remember you had basically two modules together.
Yes.
You had the landing module, and then you had the escape module for when you leave. Whereas this is just one big rocket. And of course, from what I understand, is when they do the Starship landing on the moon, is that when it does take off, it's just going to be left floating in space. Because I don't think they've got any plans to actually reuse it.
Really,
the whole, like I said when we were talking about Artemis before, it's just far too complicated.
Yeah. And of course, they recently realised that it can't even dock with the Lunar Gateway.
Exactly, that's just going to say that because the weight that will be added to it could completely throw it out of its orbit.
Yeah.
So, when they thought of these things, the Starship wasn't even a thing at the time.
Yes, it didn't.
No.
But it's a big beast, and if you're going to strap it onto a Lunar Gateway, then it's going to completely reconfigure the mass and things like that. So they don't know what's going to happen.
This is always going to be the problem, isn't it? Though somebody has a brilliant idea, then somebody else comes along and starts another one, and then they're not compatible, and then you have to work out how to make them compatible, and then that doesn't work either. It's just the way things work, I think.
Yeah. Alan says he actually owns an acre of the moon. It was a birthday present 50 years ago, not worth the paper it's written on, of course. Nice to have,
don't try and build on it.
So let's just say it's nice to have.
It's like these name a star, isn't it? People you can own
star registries. Yeah,
I think I've told this story before.
Derek's got one as well.
Yeah, I did a star, and my partner bought, just as a sort of like a gimmicky Christmas present, bought me a star and bought her daughter a star. And when it came back, when I checked it up, the name of it, actually, I didn't get a star. I got a whole galaxy.
Yes.
And then when we checked what the daughter got, she got exactly the same. So now there's a fight over this galaxy. So there's a galactic war going on at this very minute. Who owns that galaxy?
You'll have to have some sort of outer space treaty there, Des, to.
Yeah, as long as I win, I don't care. Yeah. So you know.
Kenneth says if they're going to abandon the Starship in lunar orbit, he's got a suggestion. They should fill it with food for later missions.
Well, this is what I said. Why can't they sort of like use it as a secondary? This was something I thought about. This, I mean, honestly, me and Kenneth obviously think about that. You know, on the same wavelength. I said, why can't they just put it in orbit, and use it as a secondary sort of like station? As you said, could be a warehouse.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you say warehouse?
Get your moon rocks in. Get your moon rocks in it.
Yes, absolutely. Because you know the Starship actually dwarfs the Lunar Gateway, and its payload capacity is up to 100 tons, and might even be more for Lunar Starship. Who knows? So you know, why don't they leave it in orbit as a McDonald's?
Yeah, I was just going to say, there's no point in having it as sort of like a full of food, like a quickie mart, because unfortunately the Lunar Gateway is only.
Yeah.
Or Lunar Gateway is going to only be used for 3 months of the year, unless they open it up to their partners so that their astronauts can use it. So
Michael's
here. Let me just find Michael. Hello, Michael.
Hello, Michael.
Hello, you feeling better?
Yes, thank you. A lot better than yesterday. Don't know why.
We're under 15 minutes.
Right, okay. Yes. Oh.
This is
15 minutes. I thought it was 37.
It's 15.
Yeah, well, I'm looking at the counting clock, so.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
T minus 14:35 at the moment. Is Sandra on the channel then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you popped a message in the private chat, so she won't see that.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. My cursor suddenly switched to typing in the private chat for some reason. So.
I see.
I thought, I didn't know Sandra was on.
There we are.
Anyway, hi Sandra.
Okay,
we
so
know
now
you're there.
Yes, 14 minutes basically, aren't we?
Yeah, just under 14 minutes. Right?
Everything at Boca Chica appears to be going to plan. No problems yet. Fingers crossed and all of that. So there we are. And
yeah, the Starship and the booster are filling up nicely. There's some lovely venting going on.
Oh, look at the frost on that! Fantastic. Yeah. It's good to see. Always good to see. Michael,
now you can see. Now you can see those flaps. How far they've moved them forward.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Michael, are you looking forward to anything in particular?
No, just looking forward to a successful launch, of course.
Yeah.
And orbit containment. I'll take it that they're going into orbit this time as well. I haven't read the profile of the mission.
Yeah. Well, they're doing a partial orbit, and then because if you remember, they're going to they've got some dummy satellites that they're going to try and launch.
Yeah. Okay.
From the thing, so that should be interesting because they got lots of cameras on here.
Do your homework before turning up here this evening.
Of course not.
Well, we're not expecting any problems, are we? This at all?
Not actually.
No, we never do.
Go wrong, particularly.
Anything could happen. It is a test flight.
Well, obviously, yeah. I mean, yeah, of course. But there's nothing particularly to worry about, basically.
No, I don't think there's anything particularly different that might cause a change in the way that they mount the launch. But you know,
the
heavy booster has undergone modifications as well. In fact, the whole vehicle has undergone a lot of modifications.
Yeah. So, if you remember where they removed those tiles last time, we actually had views of the side of the Starship, and you can actually see it change color, but also flexing.
Yes, that's right.
As it heated in space and things like as it came back, it was a really vibrant and dynamic thing going on.
I rewatched the launch of Blue Origin this morning.
It was great.
It was a lovely launch.
Yeah. Lovely blue launch.
Yeah.
Yes, if you haven't seen the launch of this morning's launch of Blue Origin's New Glenn, Blue Origin New Glenn. That's the acronym BONG, of course. If you haven't seen that launch, we have got it on the channel because we were up early this morning at 5 o'clock for these guys to bring the first launch of New Glenn to you. And it was a picture-perfect launch. They didn't manage to land the booster on the drone ship, unfortunately, first time around, but the odds were against them succeeding on that one.
Yeah.
But because the New Glenn rocket burns what's called, it's a sort of a variation of methane. It's a methane mix called liquefied natural gas, and it burns with a blue flame, which is quite appropriate for Blue Origin. There we are, and as we saw the rocket ascending through the clouds and lighting up the clouds with this blue glow, it was spectacular. It was really impressive.
Yeah,
it was really impressive. So have a look at our video from this morning on the live section of our channel if you want to relive the launch this morning.
Was that blue glow designed into the?
Well, I think they chose the fuel because it would glow.
We did debate it.
Yeah.
So they could have gone for kerosene. They could have gone for a number of other things, but they went for that liquefied natural gas. It just happens to burn with a blue flame.
Yeah. I was just thinking of the red, white, and blue smoke that the red arrows use.
Yeah,
great.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we also remarked on how similar and how heart-stopping it was on the actual firing of the engines and it to leave the tower.
Yeah.
How slowly it crawled
Oh
away.
yeah, definitely.
It reminded us of the first Starship test, but that was busy digging a hole.
It reminded me that it took off slowly because slow is Blue Origin's motto, isn't it? They do everything slow.
Slow and easy.
Easy does it.
25 years to get something into orbit. I mean,
know.
If that isn't slow, I don't know what is.
That's amazing.
So,
right, we're under 9 minutes now. We're under 10 minutes now.
Under 10 minutes. Okay.
Yeah.
At about the 7 or 8 minute mark, I suggest we tune in with the audio and just.
Right, okay, then if you bring it up, then I'll.
Yeah.
So it's a sunset launch, then, is it?
My headset back to Mr. Gene, who has made it up to the roof successfully. Gene and EJ and Alex and Adrian are going to take y'all through the launch. I'm going to play Xbox and point cameras at rockets, and I will see you on the other side. Here you go, Gene.
Have fun, Daz.
All right, thank you so much, Dawson. There we go. Thank you so much, Dawson. Wow, this is literally handing the headset over.
Yeah, turn it down.
And you're right. I'm glad you said bring a jacket because it's a little chilly in the shadow of the big building. But the big building we want to care about, EJ, is out there.
Yep, and that big building is going to fly.
That's right, and we're going to hear it.
That's fine.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
And we're under.
Isn't that a fantastic sight?
And
lovely, isn't it?
They're fueling.
Yeah, it's
I know
beautiful.
we've still got Adrian and Alex. And when they're
That is
done,
amazing.
how much time? And I guess I'm just going to throw this question to Alex.
Not as
When
much.
they're done, they go through the final checks, right? We get down into the minute, 1 minute.
Well, I think
then
it's
we
the
go
air's a
fly.
bit
We go uphill.
more still than it normally is.
That's why I'm so curious right now. Like,
although I don't know if you look at the extreme left of the picture, you can see it. A lot of
Yeah,
there.
you see it on the edge. Yeah.
So I think the
down in
tank
the
farm
bottom.
is actually
Yeah.
high. There we are. Look,
We are
there's a
getting
lot
to
of
the
vapor.
point
It's being
of
hidden by the
the
tank
propellant
farm.
load sequence. T-minus
So a
3
lot of
minutes,
venting going on at the moment.
And 20 seconds for the ship. T-minus
Keep
2
the
minutes and
pressure
50
up.
seconds for the booster. We are getting very close to that end.
And
of
we're
the
8
propellant
minutes from
sequence.
launch.
A lot of other things are happening as
Gosh,
well.
this is
Things
exciting.
Like the guidance systems.
So which is more exciting, guys, New Glenn or
thing.
Starship?
One of the other things that we're going to see as well,
Starship.
once that propellant
Yeah,
load
I would have
finishes on both
Yeah.
ship and the booster, we're going to see the return of
Yeah.
that oil.
I mean, of course, we're going to get to a stage one time when they're going to catch both the Starship and the
That
booster.
optional hold
Yes.
point. But
And Elon Musk has said they're going
we
to
might just
try
not
and
go
catch
through that,
the
right? They
Starship
could
this
hold
year.
if they wanted to. Right now,
Which they're
I'm
gonna
not
have to if
hearing
they wanna
anything
keep to
from
their
the official
schedule.
channels, right, from SpaceX
So
that they
they need to get this
they
whole
may need
system
to hold,
operational
so
as soon
that's
as
a good
possible,
sign.
but not
Usually when
hurry
they have
it.
some
You know,
concerns, they say, "Oh, we might do
So-
something like that." It doesn't look like
This
that,
is
and
amazing.
so
I think
right
you know
now,
at the end of
we
the
can
day,
just go
Blue
through,
Glenn is a
and that
conventional
means as
rocket.
soon as we go
Yes,
through,
it doesn't do anything
things are going to start
particularly
going
new. It's a
very,
rocket
very
booster.
slowly.
Yeah.
We're probably going to
Starship
have
is
a
a
little bit closer
beast
to
all
that
on its
point,
own, isn't it?
but
It's
definitely
completely
Certainly
keep
is.
that in mind
new.
because boy, just 7 minutes to lift off.
Yeah, when you see the vapor going
And
across
it does
the
look
ground
like
there, the question I have is
a 1950s sci-fi rocket, doesn't
they
it?
are in the control room. They know these winds on the ground. They don't seem
I've
to
got
be
concerned
because to me, EJ, it looks like that stuff's
You
moving
expect to see
pretty
Dan
quick
Dare
across the
on
ground
top.
there.
Yeah,
it doesn't.
I'm just thinking of
It
a
looks like it's
particular book
moving
I've
pretty
got.
quick, but that's. I think everything seems to be within range here. I mean, if the wind was a factor here, Gene, they would have said something about it already.
Maybe it's just an optical illusion because the vapor's small around.
It's a book by Arthur Clarke called The Young Traveler in Space.
Going out there, we talked
and
about
it's all
this many
about
times.
future
Go from
spaceflight. It
going out
dates
there.
from about 1959,
The size does mess with you.
We need a warning. Objects on stream
and all
are
of the
bigger
vehicles
than
in it look just like the Starship.
True.
This is.
It's
can
amazing.
we talk
Oh,
about
look
the
at that.
conditions we are being
Wow,
blessed
look at
with
the
right
frost.
now? Like we have. This is the 7th time we see this thing fly, but look at these conditions. Look at the light. Look at the skies. What is this?
Keep watching the skies.
Yeah, literally yesterday it was raining on the lenses when we were out there, and we were like, okay, let's see what's going on. And then they called the weather, and today is amazingly clear. And from the top of the Margaritaville here on South Padre Island, I don't see. I have to turn around. The clouds way out there in the Gulf. There are no clouds over Starbase right now. So the camera shots and the tracking shots that Doss is going to get, and Jason, and I know Jack out at the Rocket Ranch are going to be absolutely phenomenal. And we've got some secret cameras out there too.
Oh yeah,
we'll talk about those. We probably won't see those today, but we are going to get those shots.
Yep,
I can feel it coming as we are coming up on T-minus 5 minutes. Alex, talk us through this last 5 minutes.
Yeah, we're getting very close to that end of the propellant load on both the ship and the booster. First on the ship, then on the booster. We're gonna get as well. So one of the things that I mentioned before, at that T-minus 40-second mark, that is when they can optionally hold if they wanted to.
So all looking good so
we don't want
far.
that to happen, of course.
And a
They go
glorious
through,
afternoon at
one
Boca
of the
Chica
things
in
that
Texas.
happens is that the ground
Perfect weather
systems
for launch.
bend down and
Beautiful.
sort of like unlock all of those hold down arms and everything to be able to release at the T0 mark.
Yes, one thing that we didn't mention about the Starship, of course, this new Block 2 Starship, the first flight of which is today, is that the Starship's actually longer, isn't it?
That also happens there.
It's
it's supposed to be a little bit taller, isn't it?
Yeah. It's stretched.
And water,
it's got a bigger payload
underneath of the engines to be able to dissipate all of the remaining methane in the air, all the remaining oxygen. Then at T-minus 10 seconds, the water deluge system begins. That's the upside down shower head that pops out with lots of water to deflect all of the energy and pressure of the engines. T-minus 3 seconds, those engines will ignite. 3 banks, first 13 engines, then 15 of the 20 outer engines, and then the remaining 5. T0 will be the commit for liftoff. Those engines will ramp up to power, and as soon as the thrust is greater than the weight, that rocket is going to start lifting off. And that should be 2 seconds after that T0 moment. Just very shortly after that, the booster and ship will head over the Gulf of Mexico towards the east, and then it's going to be a 2.5 minute ascent for that booster. We're going to have hot staging and then separation. So just like, we're getting so close. I'm just, picturing everything in my mind, and I'm getting really
3
excited.
minutes.
But right now, it seems like propellant load is about to wrap up. Really
it looks like they're starting to vent the lines.
That
there
tower
it goes.
vent is
there it
back.
goes. There it goes. Venting of the lines.
That's the end of ship propellant load.
I tell you what, Alex,
so amazing.
See it from hotel.
Yeah,
clear as day.
Yes, it's happening. We are almost there at 4 fully loaded tanks for Starship Flight, and that's always the moment where you know it's game time.
Yeah, it's game time. And just after launch, you're going to hear game time.
Yep.
We're going to feel it in our chests. We're going to hear it here from the roof. You're going to see it on your screens. And Mike, as we talked earlier about, what's your favorite time during the launch? We all have our favorite time. Mine is right before stage separation when this rocket goes up to our left. We'll see it on the tracking cam, Dawson's tracking cam. It just becomes a daytime star. It's so amazing to look at, and you can actually see the radials coming off, and then it separates, and we have 2, and then the booster comes back, and that's really, That's what we were saying. That's what you were saying. Low hanging fruit is the first is going to be the coolest thing.
Okay, do you want to put the volume up?
That's going to be the top on the top of the cake there.
We'll leave you in the hands of NASA.
Adrian.
At this point, SpaceX is tracking no issues, and they will not take the hold at T-minus 40 seconds, apparently. So I expect them to blast right through this countdown and go all the way to T0.
So we're 1 minute, 35 seconds away, apparently not holding at T0. So, guys, we're 90 seconds away from this thing lighting off, and it's going to, as Alex said, they just released the clamps, and it's still sitting on those hold-down arms. And when they light the 33 Raptor engines, the thrust-to-weight ratio surpasses that 1-to-1 mark, and that rocket just lifts off naturally. You can see at the bottom of the screen, the venting has kind of dissipated a little bit. I haven't used that term. We talk about venting.
There you go.
But this rocket is fully filled. We're coming up on 1 minute. And Alex, what does it mean at the 1 minute? Is this that last pull, or when that ship takes over?
Just last few seconds here, at T-minus 40 seconds is that hold gate, so to speak, right? If they are not tracking any issues, so we're expecting them to just fly through that and get to the T-minus 30 second point. That is, when they say go for propellant load. For launch. I'm just like, my brain is not braining.
I don't blame you, man. Yeah. This is some wild.
It seems like they are through the gate.
We're through the gate.
T30, here we go.
The venting from
Watch for the detonation suppression system and the fire X.
Go for launch.
Go for launch.
Detonation suppression system is on. Watch out for the deluge and engine ignition.
T-minus 15.
See you on the other side, everybody.
Yep.
There's the deluge.
Yay! Here we go.
1.
Wow.
0 and
launch. Go, 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 go. All the engines are lit.
Yes, they are. All engines are lit.
Good.
Yeah. Good.
All the colours in the blue.
Wow. Never gets old, does it?
No.
Yep.
I wonder which thing we're looking at by looking at the plume.
We are about 80 seconds into the 7th flight of Starship. I believe we can say we have 33 healthy Raptor engines as the booster is in flight and all the way on its way through max Q.
Oh, there's nothing like that, Adrian, when that sound hits you just after launch. And there it is. It's on its way uphill. You can see it turning into a star. This is my favorite moment.
This is so amazing.
It's fantastic. We're T plus 1 minute, almost 50 seconds. Alex, you said it's 2 minutes to stage set. What is it, 2:15?
Yeah, around 2.5 minutes into flight. So we are 30 seconds away from that hot staging. 30 engines out of 33 will shut down. Then the ship engines will ignite. Clamps at the top of the hot staging ring will open, and the ship will fly away. The booster, meanwhile, will be flipping back to beginning its boost back burn and get back to the launch site. Remember, that's when they decide whether to go back for a catch or not.
Wow.
There's the preparation for the ignition of the Raptor engines. You can see now this heavy venting that we see on Raptor engines right before they ignite.
I love the flap cam.
You're going to see that exhaust plume come out the side, and then we'll get to stage separation. But they vent that with that CO2 to clear everything out of there.
There we go.
Shut down on Raptor ignition.
Oh, brilliant.
Wow.
And hot staging, look at that.
Look
wow.
at
The booster is going to turn
beautiful.
around.
Look at the thrusters going as well.
It looks
Right
like
now,
one engine
they're-
is out on the boost back burn, but it's okay. They've done this
That
before.
was a better view to see that separate.
12 out of 13
It
engines
certainly
on the
was.
booster.
Daz, can you put the NSF on?
And
it,
they're
Daz?
making that decision whether to go for a catch, and they don't.
Yep.
They only need the 3 center engines, right? For the
Yeah, that's great. Well, wasn't that spectacular?
That was spectacular.
It
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
And it still is. The booster returning to Boca Chica, hopefully to be caught in the Mechazilla mechanical arms. Let's keep our fingers crossed for that.
Well, here we go.
Yes.
Happen after the shutdown of
This
the
is
boost
just
back
great.
burn.
What a
That's somewhere
beautiful
where
launch.
they will start to
They've
get
got this
point.
off pat now, haven't they? Let's face it.
Go for catch, yes.
All right.
They go for catch.
Go for catch.
They're
Good,
going-
yeah.
Hey.
What you're seeing, those RCI.
Oh,
And the separation rings detached from the second stage.
oh, yeah, there you are. You can see it. The hot staging ring is detached from the top of the rocket. That will be renewed.
There it goes.
EJ, not to worry you, but that
Oh,
If they
yeah.
pull this off again, it was brilliant. It would be amazing.
Yeah.
That looked like the 2001 SpaceOddities space station.
I was about to say
rotating.
the very same thing, Roger. I've seen that before somewhere.
Look at the staging
Yeah.
ring just below it.
We saw
Yeah.
You'll see the staging ring in a minute just below it.
Just
It
below
actually
it.
overtakes it.
That is
Yeah.
not
Oh, right.
that sign. They
There it
just-
goes. See it down the
Okay,
side.
yeah, just sit behind the
Oh,
rocket.
yeah.
There we go.
One of the things that we usually say, this has engine out capability.
Oh, lovely views from the second
Yep.
stage as well.
So there goes
Yeah.
the hot staging ring, and just below on your.
Oh,
screen,
you watch
see
the
it just
idiots
below
on
the
YouTube
gas.
tomorrow. There was a UFO next to the rocket.
Which
Yeah, I
changes
know.
You know what? No,
the
somebody will say that.
center
I'm-
gravity
I'm-
of that, and they're
Oh, they will.
Guaranteed.
for a
Definitely.
catch on booster
Yeah.
14. Here we go.
Oh, wow.
And
View
what they
from
will
the
do now
Starship.
is
Yeah.
for
Oh.
very, very slight movement changes that will bring
Good
all
quality of that as well.
Yeah, but we're not interested in that at the moment. We want to see the booster.
Hey.
Absolutely.
Perform a divert maneuver to the tower itself.
That's
So
amazing.
basically, they will start to
That's
target
returning
the
about 5
first
times the
point
speed of
just
sound at
before
the moment.
tower, and if everything looks good, then they will go over to the tower.
Looks like it's doing its re-entry firing.
It's coming right for us.
Oh, yes.
Oh.
Oh, is that just venting? I think it's... No, that's a burn.
Watch out
Burn,
for
I
the
think, yeah.
section, because that's going to get red hot.
Yep.
Or is it? I don't know. It's coming in very fast, whatever it
That's
is.
Still looking good.
Yeah, that's a burn.
You've heard,
That's the entry
you've
burn.
heard nothing of the contrary that they are not go for catch. Everything looks still go.
Yeah,
Adrian, it's
Go for catch.
approaching pretty quickly.
Yep.
yes, they're going for catch.
Oh god.
Oh,
yeah,
look.
It coming.
Look at that.
Oh, here we
this
go.
will be- This will be hype.
Getting
God,
Come
goosebumps.
on.
There we go.
this is nail biting.
We get the glow.
Yep.
Not that I bite my nails.
Watch
Why
for the,
not?
watch for the
Here we
landing
go.
burn. It will be quite a spectacle.
Engines lit.
The flamethrower.
Fly, baby, fly.
Although no, do you remember we had this
Do the
before? That the
thing.
engines actually glow because of the
Do the thing. Yes.
the temperatures.
It's coming in. It's coming in.
Oh,
Coming in.
Whoa! Vapor cone.
Wow.
Baby.
Come on, light it up. Yeah.
Yes.
We got a light.
Hang on. Wow. Yes.
Here we go.
Yes. That's what we wanted to see.
Ooh, it's
Oh my God.
Oh, here we
Here
go.
we
again.
go!
Oh my God.
Wow!
No, come on.
Wow.
Oh, get that, get that, get that, get that, get that. What the?
Yes! They got it!
Hang on,
Unbelievable.
wait. Not out the
Again.
Yes. They got it.
Brilliant!
Nailed it.
Wow.
They nailed it again.
What?
That was better than the first one.
It was.
I'm just watching it now. It's just gently swinging. Look, you can just see it swinging
Yeah.
slightly.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Fantastic precision stuff again.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, dear.
Some good close-ups of the fins on SpaceX.
Amazing thing. The 13 engines ignited for the landing burn.
Oh, look at this. This is the views you're going to see in a second.
I'd like to see a replay from the actual arms,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure.
which
they will.
they did that first time.
wow.
Oh, yeah.
So Adrian, Alex, we just heard the hot staging ring come in. It made a sonic.
Oh, okay.
They just said the hot staging ring just made a sonic boom as it came in.
Yeah, I'm sure it would.
Just after the flight, we still have a ship on its
There we
way.
are.
There
Look
it
at
is
that.
on your screen.
Meanwhile, on the Starship.
Where we start these tests.
We've got an engine out.
Opening the
It's the
payload
boring
bay.
bit.
They're going to get this
2 engines out. Are they turning them down themselves,
really.
pushing them off?
on the
Ooh.
chopsticks.
Are they having a problem?
Yes. Oh, my heart. The sonic booms. I want to like. Oh. Yeah. So much louder.
Oh, it's still swinging.
Yes.
Wow.
Well, momentum's going to be there, isn't it?
Oh, man.
We have nowhere.
We've got ship update.
Might not have gone that well for the
Got a
ship.
problem with bandwidth. I'll just reload.
Sorry about this. I'll be with you in a second. There we go.
Yeah, we'll just reload and see whether that cues it. There we are. That's
Yeah.
better.
Oh, yeah, that's much better.
Looks like we're losing
The ship
engines
is
on the
down to
second
one
stage.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think they'd lost 3.
Uh-oh.
One big one. Oh, we've only got one left now.
Oh, just
dear.
one big one.
Is that intentional?
I
I
don't
do not know.
Doesn't look like it should be like that
Adrian, do we
at,
know
at
what
this
engine
stage.
it is?
It's a one vacuum, but apparently they no longer have data.
Oh.
Can we put the volume
Uh-oh.
up again, Dad, so we can hear?
Oh no.
They haven't lost it, have they?
Okay.
Oh, God, not again.
Uh-oh. I guess we're. Yeah.
It seems like there were also some There was some fire visible on one of the flaps, I think, right?
Yeah, one of the things that I saw, at least on one of the aft flaps on the hinge, there was a fire there. I'm not sure what was happening. I'm not going to venture to speak.
Right. So.
Speculate too much, but I did see some flames, and I'm not sure what's going on. It's definitely looking not great.
Yeah. And remember, Block 2 ship. So this is new.
Yep.
Obviously, this is not what we want to see, but this is all testing. We got Booster 14 back, so we can have the conversations about booster reuse. But again, we're tracking what's going on with Ship 33, and as soon as we get more information on the ship, we'll bring it to you.
Recording as tight as you can go.
The tracking shot you saw during the launch was mostly from DOS, who just nailed it all the way up and all the way back.
I lost it a little
Just
bit.
fantastic tracking. Really, really good. Alex, Adrian, have we seen anything else from our back channels about Ship 33?
Not yet, but honestly,
yeah.
It's not great. The fact that apparently they're not getting any data anymore, and we are lacking any sort of confirmation of any any good news. They're still on the same data they had 1.5 minutes ago, and only one engine up there.
I apologize for that.
So,
and what we're talking about, or right-hand corner, when he says they're seeing the data, you see the speed and the altitude.
And
then also the fuel load. That's supposed to be telemetry from the ship via Starlink, right? That comes down and it shows us engine shutdown and so on. And when they lose that, that typically means off nominal flight data. That means something happening. But on your screen is Booster 14 hanging off of the chopsticks, and we can look off the side of the building. There it is. It's right there.
It's amazing, isn't it?
It is.
I watched
They
that
made
thing
the
on
point.
stage. We could see the whole.
they made the point as the test. So to be fair, you know, if it does go horribly wrong, well, you know, at least they'll learn something from it.
But it's frustrating because, you know,
the thing it came down and landed. It definitely
fine the last
did
few
it.
missions.
Yeah. So as Sawyer says, we're standing by for an update on the ship, and that.
Too many people.
As soon as we get it, we'll report that. The sonic booms were bigger than last time. They hit. We were both saying, "Oh, look at that!" Oh, if you could see what we see,
Das has some goodies for you guys.
I'm downloading it. So
Yeah,
wow.
we got some goodies for you.
Yeah, that's crazy. Okay. Guys, I'm going to head downstairs. EJ, Adrian, Alex, you take it. I will be back downstairs in just a second.
Right.
Oh.
Well, I think.
We are starting our
I think we can assume that the Starship has been lost because there was no telemetry coming from it, and it looked like it was down to one engine. So something has gone dramatically wrong with the Starship.
Yeah, it's a shame.
It is, considering it's worked perfectly the last few test missions. So
I apologise for the breakup of the picture.
Yeah, don't worry. So I think we will wrap things up for this evening here. I don't think there's much point in hanging around. We're 99% certain the Starship has been lost. So bad luck, SpaceX. But what a fantastic catch of the booster again.
Yeah.
So they proved that it wasn't just a fluke. They can do it repeatedly. So we'll look forward to the next test mission, whenever that might be. So we'd like to thank all of our viewers for being with us this evening. This wraps up a busy week for live launch coverage on Space Oddities. We can all have a lie-in tomorrow, guys. Who are? I shall look forward to that. I'm actually going to bed early tonight as well. And I'm going to curl up with a good woman. But a book.
Yeah.
Curl up with a good book. And honestly. And I'm knackered. So anyway, thank you, viewers. Don't forget, we will be back on Tuesday for our normal Tuesday live stream here on Space Oddities, 8 o'clock UK time. I'm not quite sure what we've got in store for you for next Tuesday, but obviously we'll work something out before then. Looking forward to the 27th. We've got Ian's astronomy and music quiz. So if you want to take part in a fun quiz about astronomy and its relation to music, then we've got that on the Tuesday the 27th.
It's a bit of fun, so it's just nothing. Don't worry too much.
Like my quiz.
I'll pretend you didn't say that, Roger. Just before we go, Paul Wheaton, thank you, Paul, says lots of new plumbing on Starship, lots of redesign, but they'll have the data for next time, which of course is very true. They'll work out what went wrong and how to fix it, I'm sure. So so there we are. Sandra says it's been a great week. It has. We've seen 3 launches this week. Blue Origin's New Glenn, the Blue Ghost lander off to the moon, as well as the Japanese Hakuto R lander, which tagged along as well, and now Starship. So this brings us to quite a busy, and this is going to be 2025 years. There's so much going on in space, and we hope that you'll stay with us. We'll bring it all to you here on Space Oddities. So from all of us at Space Oddities, have a fantastic day tomorrow. Have a fantastic weekend, and we'll see you on Tuesday.
See you soon. Thanks for joining us.